Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias.
This is definitely going to be a ramble. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be talking about other than Swiss Army knives. I've got some Vingers here in front of me. I've got some Victorinox knives in front of me. Part of this is being brought on with the 39 knives that were or 39 models that were recently removed from the catalog. And we got to understand it is like models. It's actually specific styles of knives within the models also. So like a certain knife with a wood handle, things like that. So it's not like all the campers went away when they said they got rid of campers. They got rid of a certain type of cover or scale that they put on a camper. The camper's still being made. That cover is no longer going to be available. Same with like this. This is one of the knives that is going away. This is the Hunter Pro, the red ALX Hunter Pro. They have a silver ALX Hunter Pro. It's still going to be around. The silver ALX Hunter Pro has the hole in it, the thumb hole, so you can open it one-handed. The red ALX did not have a thumb hole, so it's a two-handed opening knife, and it is a lockback with a mid-lock right there. I think its main competition is probably the Buck 110. Comes with a nice lanyard, which was not attached when I got it. Also had a pocket clip. I have removed that. One of the biggest knives in the collection, or in the Victorinox line. I mean, literally, it's a big knife. And they still will be making this particular style of knife, the Hunter Pro, without the finger hole and ALX. The thing is it's going to be part of their annual ALX knives that they have been coming out with, and they've been making them for a while now. I think there's already an orange one, a gray one, and I think a green one. This year is like a yellow, electric yellow, I think they called it. So that is going to be coming out pretty soon, and who knows, maybe you'll see the red Hunter Pro in the future as part of their annual ALX knives, unless they change their mind on keeping the Hunter Pro and the ALX knives, their annual ALX knives, because we know they have done that in the past. They've been doing the annual ALX knives for a long time, but like I mentioned, the Hunter Pro has only been in there for like the last 3 or 4 years, I think. Originally, the knives that were in the annual ALX collection was your Pioneer, and that's what I think most people knows what's on it. You've got your the classic can opener with the small screwdriver tip, and then the cap lifter with the larger flathead screwdriver and the little wire stripper, a punch on the back, and then the main blade. And that's your Pioneer and ALX. And this is built on a 93 millimeter frame. And then the other knife that was in the ALX series was the Classic SD. This is the one that is still in the series. This is the only one that was pulled forward when they went to the Hunter Pro. And everyone knows what a Classic SD is too. Probably the most popular knife in the world. Small blade, nail file with the screwdriver tip, and the scissors. No back tools on these, or no scale tools on these, simply because of well, the ALX handle does not allow it. The other knife that was originally in the ALX series was also the Cadet. And the Cadet is the same as the Pioneer, except it's on an 84 millimeter frame, and it had a nail file with the nail cleaner tip. And the nail file has changed over the years. Originally, it was the one with the stripes on it. This one is the stippled version, and then they have since gone back to the one that is just the cut grooves. I don't like the cut grooves, so I was just starting to collect the ALX knives and I was just going to pick up the cadets in the line because I do like the cadet, but then they went and swapped out the nail file. They got rid of the stippled nail file and went back to the cut nail file, which I don't like. So I decided I wasn't going to collect the cadets after all. And about a year after they did that, they decided they're not going to have the cadet in the lineup of the ALX knives anyway. So that worked out fine for me. They also decided to pull the Pioneer from the line, which really freaked out a lot of people because a lot of people were collecting the Pioneers. The cadet, some people were collecting all three every year. Those people are really upset that they made that big change. But a lot of people were just grabbing the Pioneer or the Classic. Oh, and by the way, these are not one of those series knives. This one was. This was the one for 2018, the red one for 2018. But the other two knives were not from the series. Red is red to me. I guess there's a little bit of a difference in shade. Some people say there is. It's not enough for me. Any case, they also dropped the Pioneer from it, and they went to the Hunter Pro, and they kept the Classic. So the people who were just collecting classics were happy. And then they went to this knife, the Pioneer X. Now, looks at first blush to be the same as a Pioneer, but it is a 3-layer knife instead of a 2-layer knife. And that's one of the things that a lot of people complain about with Swiss Army knives is they all look alike. And it is true. Most of them have a very similar frame, but when you think about it, all trappers look alike, except they have a different color handle too. So there you go. In any case, what you have in the middle here, same blades as the Pioneer, except you also have a pair of scissors on there. And this was something that people were asking for a long time. And if you notice, this is also not one of the annual series. This was a special factory offering from the Knife Center. They had a red one, and I wanted the red one, so I bought it because I buy red Alox. And that's why I have it. I wasn't buying it because of the annual series thing, but these three knives became the knives of the annual series: the Hunter Pro, the Pioneer X, and the Classic SD. And a lot of people were very upset when that happened. Is it justified? Maybe it is, because, well, you know, for the longest time, if you're collecting this knife, and this knife, I can see how you would be upset if all of a sudden 3 other new knives showed up, or 2 other new knives showed up, and the knives you had been collecting are gone. Hello, you're here. Yeah, and suddenly you're stuck with this, and that's not what you were looking for. And it's, you know, but times change, and I'm sure Victorinox had a decision to make and why they did it. And I have a feeling a good part of it had to do with what's popular and what knives were they pushing, and that's why we ended up getting these 3 knives instead of what was happening. But in any case, now this knife has been retired. Will it show up again? I'm assuming if they come back with a new annual that's in red, then this knife will show up then, and it'll probably be a slightly different shade of red than what is here. Will I buy it? Probably not, because I've already got a red one. In any case, let's move on to something else. Some other knives that you just don't find, and you're probably not going to find anymore. And I think those are pretty cool, and I'd love to see them come back. And I have shown these before. These are the 108mm Safari line. I think this is the Solo Plus. Yeah, Solo Plus. It has a corkscrew on the back. If it did not have a corkscrew, it would just be the Solo. But it's just a 108mm knife. So what is that, 4 3/8 inches? Not 4 3/8, probably closer to like 4 1/4 because these are 111 millimeters and they're 4 3/8 inches. But we all know what these are based on. They are based off of the old Swiss Army knife. I'm sorry, the German Army knife, which Victorinox made, along with several other companies, were later also contracted to make them. I do not know if this was made to German specifications, and then Victorinox later started producing them in red and such. I do know they did later produce them for the civilian market, and originally there were some for the civilian market with this cross on it in green, so that's pretty cool too. And in the civilian market, the German Army knife was known as the Safari Trooper. This was the Safari Solo Plus, and this knife with 3 blades is the Safari Hunter. Same back tools on here. You've got the corkscrew, a long corkscrew, and a punch. But on this one you have the wood saw up front, and then in the back you have the Spearmaster blade, and then you have a gutting blade in the middle here. And this was the Safari Hunter. They also made a couple of these knives for Mauser, and a couple other companies have a 3-bladed version of the knife. There was also some that had imitation stag covers on them and everything else. So they did a lot of good stuff with the 108 millimeter knives, but eventually they retired them, and now some company in China is making copies of the German Army knife, which kind of sucks. But I would love it if Victorinox would come back with these, but I doubt seriously that they ever will. And so another one of those knives that has been retired in the past by Victorinox, the 108 millimeter knives, which were really cool. You know, while we're at it, speaking of retired knives, when I was doing the video on the 39 knives that were retired, I had mentioned the Alox Clip and wasn't sure what it was. I actually have an Alox Clip, but I always thought it was called the Money Clip. I didn't know it was called the Alox Clip. And it's basically got the same tools that you find on an Ambassador or a Classic SD. You've got a pair of scissors on one side, and then you've got a rather long blade on the other side here, and then finally you have a nail file with the cleaner tip. So this is the nail file that you would have found on the Classic, but not on the Classic SD. Notice it's just got the cleaner tip there. And it was a smooth Alox handle, and then a clip on the back side here that supposedly you can use to hold your money or whatever. I don't know how popular these were. I think this is something that was often engraved and such, and then given away as as a marketing tool. I think that's more what the ALX Clip was used as, and I don't know how well it sold or anything, but that I think is the ALX Clip that was retired this year around. I always heard it called a Money Clip, and that's why the confusion from before. Now the other thing I heard was Evo Grip. Now these are Vangers, so all of these are retired, and all of these are also basically the same knife, just different covers on it. This is my Moo knife, my Moo Cow knife, which was a limited edition knife for promoting Switzerland, and this is the Evo Grip version of it. I always heard it as called a Commander, but it does have an exact number to it too. I wish Victorinox actually put the numbers on the knives so we would know what it was, but they don't put the model number on the knives. That would really help out a lot. But you know, it's got the nail file on the back and stuff like that. 85 millimeter frame, and This is the Evo grips. This is, just notice you got the red there and then the black inserts. That's what they meant by Evo grip. And from what I understand, all the Evo grips are going away. And from what some people have said, no, it's all knives with the Evo handles are going away. So any of them with the contoured grip is going away. I don't know which is which. If that's the case, I'm sorry to see the all those 85 millimeter knives going away, because I know a lot of people love the 85 millimeter knives by well, now Victorinox Delamont, and so that's going to be sad. And one of the cool things about their the 85 millimeter knives is what you can find on them that you don't find on 84 millimeter Victorinox knives very easily. And we see that right here, and that is scissors. Come on out there. You don't find scissors on 84 millimeter Victorinox knives, but they were all over the place on the old Wenger knives. Victorinox discontinued scissors a long time ago, but Wenger continued to put scissors on their knives, and the Wenger knives, their standard size was 85 millimeter. I think that Victorinox came out with the 84 millimeter knives to directly challenge Wenger. I really do believe that's the way that worked. Also, I always loved the little chain that they had on their knives. Got a lot of I don't have a lot of Victorinox Delamont knives, and I don't have a lot of Wenger knives in general, but typically the ones I look for are the ones that have the little chain. Really cool knives, and a lot of people really like their can opener better. It is definitely more user-friendly for people who are used to the can openers that rock forward or rock backwards instead of rock forward. Also, almost all of their knives have that small clip blade, and if they don't have a small clip blade, then they have the nail file. So just about every knife that they come out with, would have like a either you have the choice of either nail file or the secondary clip blade, which was pretty cool with a lot of the old Victorinox or Wenger knives. So that was pretty cool. And also, a lot of people corrected me on this tool. This is the nail clippers that have the classic SD attached to it as well. This one this one obviously is by Wenger, not by Victorinox Delamont. But this version is not going away, apparently. This one is sticking around. The one that is going away is the one that was just the pair of nail clippers. It did not have the other tools attached to it. Now this is, like I mentioned, this is one that was made that was safe for flying, basically, because it's got the little scissors, and then it had the little, well, you got the nail file, and also, well, this one has been converted a little bit, but this was a small screwdriver tip. I've got two of these. I got one of them where I've sharpened the screwdriver tip into a little point, because I use that when I go fishing for cleaning out the eyes in fish hooks. So when they're painted over and stuff, I use that to pick out the paint in a fish hook. But in any case, somebody pointed this out to me, and I did not know this to save my life. And it's like, what? This is so cool, because I've always struggled. How do you get this out? Well, the way you get this out is you take this black thing here and you pull up on it, or just pull down on it, rather. See that? And the things flip out. I didn't know that. There's probably instructions somewhere, should have probably read the instructions, but I never read the instructions. But they do work. The nail clippers are decent enough. But I did not know the easy way to open this. That's what happens sometimes. You know, you have the knife and you struggle to open and go, man, that's definitely a flaw in the design. Well, no, it's a flaw in the user who did not read the handbook, because they come out real easy. Anyway, this one apparently is sticking around, the one without the extra tools, the knife blade and the scissors and file. That one, the one without those tools, is going away. Speaking of models that have been discontinued, well, this one has been discontinued. The Hunter. Well, not necessarily the Hunter, but this version of the Hunter has been discontinued, and it's been discontinued for some time now, and that's because it has the slide lock. Now, a lot of people don't like the slide lock, but I really like the slide lock. It's just a simple thing. You pull back on it and the blade closes. The knives instead now have, all of them have liner locks, and the liner lock often will work on the main blade and the can opener. But this knife is the Hunter. They have a lot of knives called Hunter, Huntsman, Hunter Pro, and everything. And what's on this one though is the gutting blade, and I really like the gutting blade on this thing. It's really efficient, you know. Well, it's really efficient for opening boxes for me, but I have been told by people who do hunting that they have used it and it was very useful. And then it has the combo tool, and I like the combo tool too. This works as a can opener and a cap lifter. That's not going anywhere anytime soon, as far as I know. Otherwise, this is your typical, you know, Victorinox knife with the scissors, the 111 millimeter knife frame. And there's a couple different scissors. I said scissors, that's a saw. It looks very much like a wood saw to me instead of a pair of scissors. But then again, that's what happens sometimes. You say the wrong word. In any case, they have a couple different versions of wood saws on these knives too. I don't know what the deal is with that, because I don't know if it was from pattern to pattern or if they changed over years. Maybe Swiss Army Grizz can tell me more about that. And this one, I added the screwdriver into there. So, pretty cool knife. I like the slide locks. A lot of people do not like the slide lock, but I did. In any case, I don't know if they still make the OD green covers on there or scales for this either, but I like that too. It just looks good. Speaking of a knife that was retired though, I got two, one from Wenger and one from Victorinox. I think both of these were relatively short-lived. I know this one was. This one I think might have been around a little longer, and they actually made more than one version of this knife. But these are both knives. This one's was bought through Eddie Bauer and by Wenger, and if you notice there, it has a whistle on it. And this knife is the Victorinox whistle knife. I've done videos on, I think, both of these knives. Right there, you blow into it, and there's the whistle. Yeah, and it does get relatively loud. They say how many decibels it is, but it's basically just a whistle scale added to your basic classic SD. So you got the scissors there, and then the little blade, and the nail file, and then a pair of tweezers. But there's the Victorinox whistle knife. I think it was only around for about 3 or 4 years, and limited production too, so you didn't see a lot of them when they were around. This one, as you can see, it was sold through Eddie Bauer, and I think they also have one that has a lot more tools on it. This one just basically has your combo tool up front, and this is the Wenger combo tool, which is pretty cool. I think it has a more functional cap lifter as well as screwdriver in there. And then the main blade next to that. And this is built on a 85 millimeter frame because, well, Wenger. And then you've got a whistle that folds out, a more traditional whistle than what you have there, but also quite loud. And also what is with this one is a compass and a little scale there for measuring for when you're using a map. It's got a 1-inch scale there, or centimeters. And if you look inside there, something actually turns in there, and that is because there is an actual small compass in there, and you use your little dial here so you can get your direction set for north, south, east, west, and so on and so forth. Survival, maybe, I don't know, but there you have it. A whistle knife with a compass for orienteering. So pretty cool. If nothing else, a backup compass. And what else do we have here? I guess I've been rambling for a while, but I thought I'd show at least one more, and that is this one here, which is the Passenger. And this is basically the Explorer, but it's lacking the scissors. And it's also similar to the Spartan Light, but instead of having a light, it has a magnifying glass. And so this is one that has been gone for a long time, and a lot of people would love to see show back up. The Passenger, and you see here, like I mentioned, you've got the usual front tools that you find on almost every Swiss Army knife, and then the back tools are the same. You've got the main blade and the smaller blade, and then you see the 4-turn corkscrew here. Is it 4-turn? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4-turn with the groove, the older style awl. And if you notice here, we've got the looks like the nickel silver tip for the tweezers. But the cool thing was what you find in the middle, which is the Phillips driver. And a lot of people really love the Phillips driver on these knives, and I like it too. The number 2 Phillips, especially when it's mounted dead center, that's really a good place for it. And then the other thing they have on here is the old magnifying glass. So that was the Passenger, and that is also a knife that was retired from Victorinox, but retired many, many years ago. And I think I'm going to end it with that. So a lot of rambling, I guess. There were some other knives I was going to show, but this is going on forever. And I really could sit here and talk about Swiss Army knives for another hour if I wanted to, and if I wasn't losing my voice. But just thought I would ramble through the collection of Swiss Army knives. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I was a little long in the tooth here, and I know it's not like I was over exuberant or anything like that, but they're just kind of like old friends. Swiss Army knives, I really like. I like them. I like to pull them out, and I like to look at them once in a while. And I also carry one daily, and I like to use them. So I think they're one of the best knives on the market today. I know it's not the world's greatest steel or anything else, but for just simple everyday carry, you're talking about affordable knives with decent steel, and they get the job done, or get most daily tasks done. What's the phrase? A knife that will do 80% of the jobs for 80% of the people out there, something like that. I think it's more like about 90% of the jobs for 90% of the people out there when it comes to a Swiss Army knife. And the cool thing is if there's something special that you're looking for in a knife, you can usually find that special tool that you kind of want with a Swiss Army knife. Scissors, saw, corkscrew, whatever. Anyway, with that said, I think I will let you go. Hope you enjoyed the ramble, and I will see you again soon.
Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it. and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.